Hi everyone, it's Annalisa, and I have a guest with me today. It's Shane Reiser, our knowledge base guru, master mage. He is here to help us walk through Zapier, and we actually have an example of a spreadsheet we want to zap into kvCORE. So we're going to walk through that process really quickly on the first zap and how to get that going. Hi, Shane.
Hey, and so, yeah, I guess if you had somebody that was entering leads for you into a spreadsheet, and every time they input a lead, you wanted that lead to show up in kvCORE, you could accomplish that with Zapier.
So like some onesie, twosies, like you're sitting along and you got a lead coming here, a lead come here, you can just drop them in and it'll just go right
Yeah,
into the kvCORE? Okay.
yeah, it's like, if it's faster to just input it into a spreadsheet, or if you have a VA that's inputting your contacts into a spreadsheet, you can
Mhm.
just zap them over to kvCORE automatically without having to go through all the menus and buttons and whatnot.
So it's a big time saver, really, in the long run.
Yeah, that's kind of what this is. I mean, if you have two different programs, the whole point of Zapier is that you can automate them when you want them to speak to each other. It can be done automatically.
Awesome. All right, so let's see what we got.
So kind of what I want to start with is just a really simple overview of how to get started and how to get Zapier up and running.
Hmm.
You do need a Zapier account, and inside of Zapier itself, if we open up their website, there's an apps button here at the top. And this is always something, if you're brand new to this, you should go and look to see what they have as an option on the Zapier website. They have Facebook lead ads, they have Twitter, they have Pinterest, they have Excel spreadsheets, they have a whole bunch of programs, MailChimp, if you acquire subscribers from newsletters and things like that.
Constant contact. Yeah, wow. Okay.
All of these apps are in here. And a lot of them are apps that capture, contact information. Intercom, for example, if somebody goes to your website and you use Intercom on your site, it's proactively pulling their information out however it can. And so if the app that you want to connect to kvCORE is in here, then you're good to go, is basically
That's
how it
awesome.
works. Yeah. And there are two things that you can do with Zapier and kvCORE right now. Number one, if something happens in a drip campaign, you can have it trigger a zap. Or if you want to add leads to kvCORE, you can do that. Or if you want to send leads from kvCORE to another app, you can do that. So it's either sending and receiving leads to and from kvCORE, or
Hmm.
it's triggering something from a smart campaign or a drip campaign.
So realistically, it's for lead gen or throwing things out there to like thanks.io or some type of a activity as part of your media plan within that smart campaign that could be print or electronically sent something. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So in other words, if I captured a seller lead on my
Hmm.
kvCORE website, I have their information. I know that I know what their address is. If I wanted to send them a postcard, there's no tool in kvCORE to send a postcard. But if I'm connected to an app that's on Zapier, like thanks.io,
Yeah.
they send postcards. So I can say, okay, whenever I get a new seller lead, I want to send them a postcard from this third party that I pay
Hmm.
for separately. And that's something that can be totally automated. You don't have to go in and manually send a postcard. You can just have it, okay, they're on my seller campaign. I know that right away they're going to get a postcard. So that's something that
That's
you can do.
awesome.
Yeah, it sounds really fancy, but doing it is not that involved.
So kind of like making Rice Krispie treats. It looks complicated and people love it. And the meanwhile, you're like, I did it all myself.
Yeah, I'm lay pastry chef or whatever.
I knew it. I knew it.
So if you want to get started with Zapier, the first thing that you need is the invite link. And if you open the help article for Zapier, you can just search for it here at the top, and it will pull up the result. There's
Hmm.
a little link here, the invite link. Click on that. That'll bring you right down to this here. You can click on this. And I already have my Zapier account signed in, so it brought me to the Zap Builder right away. This is what the builder looks like. When you first click on it, it's going to ask you, to sign up, input your name, your email, your info, whatever. Whatever it asks you for, it's not a scam. Just go through the motions and get your account set up properly, and you'll eventually land on this page where you could build a Zap right away. But to sort of simplify things and to give everybody a better idea of what's going on, we're going to exit out of this. So I clicked on the invite link. It takes me to my dashboard in Zapier. And you'll see here I'm signed in. It has my initials on the top right. And what we could do is just go ahead and make a Zap by clicking on this button. So that's the first thing that you need. You need this invite link. The other thing that you're going to need is actually in kvCORE itself. You're going to have to go to the lead engine, and over here in the lead drop box on the right hand side, you're going to find your Zapier key. This is a piece of information that will allow you to connect your kvCORE profile to Zapier. So you're going to want that. You can copy it right there.
And I think something to be aware of, depending on your level of access within kvCORE, is, are you setting up the Zap for the company level, for an office level, or for yourself, an agent level, or a team level if you're part of a team? So pay attention to the key you're choosing to make sure things are routing correctly.
Yes, absolutely. That's very important. It says at the top of each box which keys are for what scope. So, if I only want to send leads to my personal my personal agent account, then I would need my agent key. If I wanted to send the leads to everybody in my office, send it to lead routing so that the people who are in lead rotation get the leads, then I would use the office key.
Gotcha.
So that's the other thing that we'll need. When you have those two pieces of information, you're ready to go. You can start creating a Zap. And so I think for this example, what we're going to do is we said that whenever we add a lead to a spreadsheet that we have in our Google Drive account, we want that lead added automatically to kvCORE. So the first thing that we're going to do is click on Make a Zap here on the top right-hand side. And because I'm inputting the leads into Google Sheets, that's what I'm going to select here. So this is the origin. Step one is, where is the information when you start? It starts in Google Sheets. So we're going to start with Google Sheets.
Well, that's like our inbound information.
Yeah, our inbound information is coming from Google. We're going to send it to kvCORE.
Okay.
I want this to work, and depending on what app you select, there's always going to be different triggers because it depends on the app itself, right? So whenever a new row is added to the spreadsheet, I want this action to occur. So I'm going to select new spreadsheet row. And this part you would add your Google account to. The first time you click on this, mine is already connected, so it's kind of like we're skipping a step. But when you first click on this, you'll click on Add a New Account, and it'll have a pop-up. It'll ask you to sign into your Google account so that it can talk to it properly. I went ahead and I had already added my Google account to Zapier, and you'll just do it right within this step. It's very easy. Once you're signed in and you input your password, you'll be able to access your Google Sheets account in your Google Drive. Does that make sense?
Yes, so it's like a hub of information. It's going to be accessing things and distributing.
Yeah, it can't actually see any of your spreadsheets unless you give it your password.
Okay.
After your account is connected, we click continue. And now we have to pick, okay, which spreadsheet that you have in your Google Drive account are we working from? So you click on the drop down, and here I have my 1Z2Z Google Zap. So the leads that I'm inputting are in that spreadsheet. I created it ahead of time. The worksheet, there's only one worksheet in here, so we're just gonna select sheet 1 and then hit continue again.
So if you have more than one sheet within that Google sheet, you can choose which sheet you want to have applied?
Oh yeah, and if you're not sure about things, you can always like go back. So here
Okay,
it says test and review. So if I want to double check, I can just click on the previous step, customize spreadsheet row.
cool. Okay,
And yeah, they have other options like you know, uh, a custom value. So you can set a filter for, only sheets that have this info in it, or, it can get very complicated if you wanted to. But
right.
for the purposes of the demo, we're just going to use
We'll
sheet
keep it
one.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever you finish setting up a connection in Zapier, it's going to ask you to test. And there's a skip test button here if you know for sure that it's going to work, but it's always a good idea to use the test button, and Zapier will make sure that all of the info that you input is going to work. So we'll hit test and continue.
So hopefully we're 5 by 5 on this.
Yeah, and it went okay. And
Cool.
we know that it went okay because it brought us to step 2, do this. So first we have new spreadsheet row in Google Sheets. Okay, now I want to send this lead to kvCORE. And because we clicked on our invite link earlier, there's the kvCORE icon right here. And it says by invite. So we click on that. And okay, in kvCORE, what do we want to do? I want to create a new contact.
Heck yeah, we do.
Okay, press continue. The same thing as connecting your Google account, you have to connect your kvCORE account, and that's where that Zapier key comes from. So if I hit copy and I go to add an account, it's going to ask us, okay, what's your Zapier key? You input it, press continue. Okay, now it's good to go. Press continue. All right, customize contact. So we're adding a contact in kvCORE. Now we have to connect the information from our Google Sheet. And the way that we do that is by pulling the information from the sheet that we connected in step 1.
Mm-hmm.
And that connection is set up here. There's this button on the far right-hand edge of the field. Now
the little plus sign, okay.
Yeah, I could manually type in like, I want this person's name to be this, but because the info is actually in our spreadsheet, we're going to connect it from the spreadsheet. So you click on that icon and you'll see here it says, okay, new spreadsheet row. What info do you want from that spreadsheet? Mm-hmm. Well, for first name, I want their first name. This is the first name that's in this.
So we match the fields on the spreadsheet to the fields on Zapier, so it's pulling identical information.
Yeah.
Okay.
If I put, if I select home phone, then their first name in kvCORE is going to be their phone number.
That'd be a weird driver's license.
Yeah. Well, if you only have phone numbers.
Right. Well, yeah, you could still port it, couldn't you?
Yeah. So, I mean, you can kind of do whatever you want with it technically, but it's a good idea to just match up the proper fields.
Yeah.
Lead type. So we have our different lead types in kvCORE. If you want to, let's say this is home seller farming and your VA is putting in potential sellers, then you could say, okay, these are actually going to trigger a seller campaign. So I would select seller. Last name right there. Email address, we pull the email. Do they have a phone number? Yeah, they do. Well, it says home phone, but we're going to input it as cell phone. Lead status, this can be any of the lead statuses in kvCORE. There's actually a help article on this if you go and search for status in the help center at the top.
So like it could be prospect, new client, what have you.
Client.
Okay.
The statuses in kvCORE are sort of pre-built. You can't really edit them.
Yeah.
You can edit the hashtags, but not the statuses.
Yeah, because it's like the primary category, and then the hashtag helps you delineate things.
Yeah. The form or capture method, this is not really necessary, but it'll help fill out some information. Really what we want to specify the most is the source.
Yes.
There's a lot of questions about source. When you open up a contact in kvCORE, I'm just going to open up my Smart CRM really quick. just to give everybody an idea of what I'm referring to. So if I open up a contact here on the left-hand side, it'll have a summary. And typically this is where the system will tell you this is where this person came from. You know, it came from this advertisement or it came from this website. If you expand more details and you scroll down a bit, you'll see the referral source. And here it says tracked call, which is like a custom text code. But source and system source are things that we can specify in Zapier. That's source and secondary source.
And by setting that up, you're also gaining information in your business analytics. Is that right?
Yeah, you can tally up how many leads are coming from where.
Cool.
So wherever you have the opportunity to say what the source is, you should say it, just so that you can monitor everything properly.
Right. Okay, so I know we've entered in all of those good information above, and we're talking about lead statuses, and now we're moving on to like the capture methods and sources. So how do we figure those, or how should we be thinking of these and how it applies to our business?
So the source is something that's recorded in kvCORE. A lot of people have questions about, you know, where the source come from. When you're setting up things like lead routing, you know, maybe the
how
source
does lead get here?
Yeah, where does the source information come from?
Right.
The source is something that you can track in kvCORE in the different business analytics sections. You can tell where your business is coming from, which percentage of them are, you know, closing, that sort of thing. So it's important to be consistent with your sources, and it's important to be accurate with your sources as well. For the most part, source isn't generated until kvCORE sees the lead. So if I had opened a contact in kvCORE, usually here on the left-hand side in the summary, it will tell you where that person came from. Like this person came from a Facebook ad. Yeah. And this is the ad that they clicked on.
Or like sometimes it might say it came from the office website and was directed at you, which basically means it was like a round robin rotation that landed with you.
Yeah, exactly. And there's an article on sources. You can read more about the details, but the source information is either it's generated automatically from wherever this person came from if they went through your kvCORE website, or it's something that you add yourself when you're doing something like a Zap.
So we can control the narrative and the name of it so we recognize it when it comes in.
Yeah, it's important to have a plan.
Okay.
You know, give it a name that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
So here, when we're setting up the Zap, you know, we can set the source and we can know exactly where this person came from. So let's say that this spreadsheet that we have going, let's say that these are people that we met at an event of some kind. And so we would say, okay, the source of this person was golf tournament, and we're entering the people that that we met into the spreadsheet that we met at this golf tournament.
Like look through networking. Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we know where we met that person, and then our secondary source, we're just going to add some clarity to this. You know, what exactly happened with this person? How did we capture them? And we would say zapped from spreadsheet.
Okay.
Or something. Whatever name you decide to give it, make sure that you're very consistent with future zaps and sources. You know, you kind of want it to be, you don't want to have a billion different sources. You kind of want to be very clear about, you know, what you're inputting.
Well, I guess you could think about it when some like listing agents spell a county how many ways? There should only be one way it's spelled, right? So probably the same way with this secondary source. Keep very consistent on your formatting and usage. Okay, so then we got our source in here. We have our secondary source. We know exactly where it came from, and then also where the information was taken with the first source. Now we're going to look at the other input areas, right?
Yeah, there's so much you can input. You know, we're creating a contact from scratch. We can put whatever information we want. You'll see a lot of these fields say optional. So If you have this information, go ahead and specify it. If it's not in your sheet, then just skip it. If I have my information from the spreadsheet that is, let's see, I have their address, so we'll just put the address information in here, city, state. Very easy to just select whatever is in the spreadsheet already.
So just like we did above.
Yeah.
Okay.
We can also set tags. These are hashtags. Hashtags are very popular in the system because they're like your own version of a status. And there's so many things that you can activate in kvCORE using a hashtag. Let's say that we wanted to do this, take this a step further, just to give people an idea of what we can do with the hashtag field here. I selected hashtags from the spreadsheet because I have a hashtag column in my spreadsheet. If I wanted to just add an additional hashtag to it, I forgot to put it in the spreadsheet, or if I wanted to, do something specific, I could put a pipe character. You'll see here it says, this is a tag or set of tags to add to the leader contact. Multiple values must be separated by a pipe character, and that's the straight up and down line that's above your right hand enter key. Just hold shift, put the vertical bar, and then I can say, Zapier. And I can add any other hashtags.
Oh, like golf tournament or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Golf. Maybe I have a strategy in my system where if people have a golf tag, they have a special drip campaign for golf course stuff. I mean, who knows? Okay, so we'll go ahead.
I do want to have a question. So, so say you did go to the golf tournament, and you want to add a note that would just blanket every lead that came in. You could say this was this golf event on this date with this company if you wanted to. So you had it all in front of you all the time.
Oh yeah, 10/20, 2019 PGA
Gotcha.
tournament event.
For local charity or something. Oh, yeah.
Any notes that you want to input here, you can pull them from the sheet. You can add your own notes, whatever you want.
Cool. Okay.
Once all of your fields are matched up from the sheets, this is the info that kvCORE will use to create the actual contact. We just hit continue. And it's going to send a test. So here we would review all the info that we selected. Okay, first name, it found Carol in the spreadsheet. It's a seller lead. It found the last name. It pulled all the info. And you just verify that this looks good. If it looks like a complete lead to you, then hit test and continue. It says a test contact was sent to kvCORE in about 1 second. Okay, great.
Awesome.
We created a contact. We were able to create a contact in your kvCORE account, lead ID 1036. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if we could actually find this. So I happen to have a contact open. If you visit your Smart CRM and you click on somebody's name, it will show up. Here, here's Carol. So this came from this app that we just did.
And the top on the browser.
Yeah, here's the ID 1036. That's what, Zap said the ID was. So that's the right lead. Here's our hashtags, Zapier, golf, they're all in there. This person is on a campaign. We'll remove that. I don't know if Carol's a real person.
I mean, it depends on which universe you're looking at.
From that spreadsheet. It looks like a fake email, but you never know.
Right.
Some people are hilarious. You just don't know. But yeah, so it added the note 10/20/2019 tournament event. All the info that was in our spreadsheet is now in
and
kvCORE.
the summary also includes it.
Yeah, Carol was generated by Golf Tournament 2019. Oh, cool. So if I go into more details, where did this person come from?
Zapier. Yep. Awesome.
So it pulled all the information over for us. It looks like it didn't bring the secondary source. I'm not sure why. It looks like it decided to specify what the secondary source is, which is actually a good thing because it'll stay consistent.
Yeah.
When you look at the business analytics in kvCORE, you can look at your source performance. And so if I was, I had 300 leads from Zapier, you'd be able to see that on this graph.
Right, because you could pick a source along with direct website, Facebook, manual ad, and drop it in there across the top.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's my golf tournament 2019 source.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
So, you can get very, very advanced with this. If you're running advertisements and doing, this should motivate you to go out there and anything that you find where you can capture leads in some way, capture them and set up a Zap for however you captured them and just have them push to kvCORE automatically.
And I would think if you just had a sphere spreadsheet, right, and you met somebody that was networking in your community or something, you could just add them into your sphere as they come via your mobile device or your desktop or your computer at work. So it's always traveling with you, so you can automatically zap it within the meeting that person.
Yeah, what's the easiest way that I can enter this person's information? Yeah, if you're unsure, just talk about with support, talk about what you want to do exactly. Like, oh, right. I input my people into my phone. Oh, do you use a Google account on your phone? If you do, then sync your Google account to kvCORE and it'll automatically push your contacts to kvCORE. So there's just so many options for, getting people into the system and getting people out of the system and however you want to do it. Yeah, the very last step is done editing here at the bottom. And it says, okay, your Zap is ready. Now my people from my spreadsheet are going to go to the system. I can turn it on.
Oh boy.
All right, your Zap is on. Go to my Zaps. And here it is. The little switch says on. I can give it a name.
But always make sure to double check your spelling.
This is especially true if you consume copious amounts of caffeine. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so here's my golf tournament, my gold tournament spreadsheet leads.
It was the Rumpelstiltskin Open, I think.
Wow, I should have named it that.
It's not too late.
That's genius. Yeah, so that's a Zap. That's it. That's done.